This video is made possible by Spencer Shipley at Packey Webb Ford in Downers Grove, Illinois. Spencer is dedicated to finding the right car for you in the quickest time possible. Give him a call or contact him with the information up on the screen or found in the description below.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E Premium. Up front is an electric motor, and down below is a 1-speed automatic transmission. Now I'm super excited to be driving this here Mach-E because this is the talk of the town right now. This is the creme de la creme. The automotive controversy, this is it. This is the big car for 2021. And so I'm so excited to be driving this here car. So let's get back to that electric drivetrain. Well, on board is an 88 kilowatt hour extended battery. This is the premium and the range varies depending on the trim level, but this is, like I said, the premium all-wheel drive, which is rated at about 270 miles per charge. In terms of horsepower, this makes about 346 horsepower, unless you got the rear-wheel drive premium. The rear-wheel drive premium only makes 290. 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds. And like I said, paired to it is a single-speed automatic transmission. You don't have to worry about that.
Now, charge times for the Mustang Mach-E vary. However, I am putting a small little chart up on the screen with traditional outlets and their times. However, you can use 150 kilowatt charging stations that can add up to 61 miles of driving range in 10 minutes, charging the vehicle from 10% to 80% in just 45 minutes.
We'll have another go. Oh, man. There is a little bit of doctored sound that comes through the speakers. It sounds like a grumbling V8. That's not the car. I'll see if I can get an audio clip here. Not a big fan of that, but I can turn that off if I want. Now, the actual driving experience is very nice. Calming, quiet, normal. It drives like every other electric vehicle that I've ever driven, which I enjoy. I really do like the feeling of electric cars. All right, you're not really gonna hear anything, but this is unbridled mode, which is essentially sport mode, and we'll talk about it a little bit later on, but oh my God. Wow. I mean, wow. It just goes. That's what I love about electric cars. If you're worried about the Mustang Mach-E not being quick enough or not being fun enough to drive, worry no more, because unbridled mode is definitely very, very fun. It drives like an electric SUV. It's very refined. It's very quiet. It feels luxurious. I can put it into whisper mode as well. Again, we'll talk about the drive modes a little bit later on, but it's just a very calm, reserved vehicle, and I like that. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a very slim, very small digital display. Of course, it's giving me my speed, but I'm also looking at my range and battery life off to the left. I absolutely love that. I do like how they retained it saying ground speed. Traditional Mustangs say this as well. On their gauge cluster, it says ground speed, which is pretty redundant, but that is sort of Mustang-y about this car. I really like this slim looking gauge cluster. I think it is very fresh and modern. I've never seen a digital dash quite like this, and I like that. If I'm gonna buy a fresh new car, I want it to feel fresh and new, and it definitely does with this slim gauge cluster. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my cruise control options. Of course, I do have radar cruise and things like that. And on the right, I have my volume, voice commands, skip track, and other information like that.
So something the Mach-E also has is Copilot 360 2.0 from Ford, which allows it to over-the-air update while it is charging. You can actually get updates, but it's also hands-free driving. So the Copilot 2.0 system only currently works on highways because Ford has actually mapped out highways. It's very similar to GM's Super Cruise system. So on back streets, side roads, things like that, it currently does not offer hands-free driving. However, you could still use your adaptive cruise control.
To the left of me, I just have my headlight switches, defroster switch, which is interesting to find by the headlights, and my gauge dimmer switch, things like that. On the door, I have 3 different memory seat options, my power locks, power windows, power power mirrors, and a very interesting door handle. Now, I want to take a second to talk about both the interior and exterior door handles. In here, they are sort of like a FD Mazda RX-7, where you pull them up, they're sort of in the handle themselves to get out. But to get in the car, there aren't any visible door handles. They are buttons on the door. They do have a little area for you to pull, but the rear doors do not, which I found very interesting. I'm not sure why Ford really did this. I think it's kind of cool, but again, you don't really have to reinvent the wheel, or in this case, reinvent the door handle. I thought Ford's door handles worked pretty good in the past, but maybe not. I like the feeling of the steering wheel. It's leather wrapped, and I do like the Mustang logo in the middle. It's very minimalist, which is kind of the idea of this entire car. But we'll talk about the Mustang logo at the end of the video in the final thoughts section.
But before we get on with the rest of the video, I want to say thank you to the people who made this video possible. First up, CashForCars.com wants to buy your car. They will buy your car with a clean title, salvage title, running, non-running, whatever it may be. You can get your free quote by clicking the link in the description below. CashForCars.com is the easiest way to sell your car. Within a couple of clicks, they'll come pick up your car in less than 24 hours. You don't even have to leave the couch, and it's absolutely awesome. Next up, we have con plates. The con plate is a suction cup mount for your license plate when you don't want to mount it to the front of your car. If you have to legally have a front license plate like you do here in Illinois, but you don't want to stick it on the front of your car, you think it's ugly, you want to take it off for car shows, whatever it may be, you can actually just put your license plate into the suction cup holder and put it in your front windshield when driving around to remain legal. You can get your con plate in the description below, and every sale helps out the channel, so make sure your car looks good with con plates. Last but not least, I want to talk about the fixed OBD2 sensor. Now, this is a Bluetooth sensor that you plug into your OBD2 port on your car, and it gives you a ton of cool information like your check engine lights, how to fix your check engine lights, approximately how much it should cost, maintenance intervals like oil change, tire rotation, brake pads, when you should change that stuff out. This is absolutely fantastic for anyone into cars or anyone looking to get into mechanics. Fixed is offering my viewers a discount through that link, so go check it out, and again, help support the channel. But with all of that out of the way, let's get on with the review.
Moving into the center, I have a giant iPad type center display, and this is what runs everything. My radio, my climate controls, my settings, everything. And I mean everything is ran through this center screen. So let's talk about some of those features. So this screen is so large that I actually had to use my GoPro to just get the whole scale of it in here. But we have tons and tons of things we can go through in here. So let's start off with our drive modes. We have Engage, Whisper, and Unbridled. So the nice thing is that all of these buttons have little information icons next to them. So if you don't know what something is, just ask. So Engage says balanced drive, fun and engaging. Whisper is seamless drive, calm and quiet. And then Unbridled is exhilarating drive, machine and road align as one. I also have my one pedal drive settings, auto ambient light selection, and propulsion sound. That's that V8 noise I was talking about. Then we can move down here to our cameras. Now this is a front facing camera and this is a 360 camera. However, I can change it to just be my parking sensors. This is a couple different angles and things of that nature. I have parking assist, which comes on pretty much all modern Fords. Access, boom, I can pop the trunk like that, and it has a little popping trunk. Can close it from there too. Driver assistance, auto holding brake, and traction control are just dials in here. Again, we can hit information. If we don't know about something, boom, just ask. That's really, really nice. Valet mode, which is nice, of course. Put a pin in there, settings, things like that. Then I do have navigation, my tire pressure, trip, things like that. And of course, I do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Now down at the bottom here, this is where the climate controls are actually ran. This is a button, but actually what it does is it just simulates a person's finger behind here, which is sort of interesting. I have high-low settings as well as heated and cooled seats. So we go here, turn it on or off, and then we can go to the air-conditioned on or off. The same goes for the temperature. It's a sliding bar, which is pretty cool. You could bring it all the way down to low or all the way up to high or somewhere in the middle. Pretty responsive screen. As you can see, it's following my finger well enough. It's fine. Heated steering wheel, a premium option here. Rear defrosters, and things of that nature. So here's my Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, tire pressure, navigation, phone, radio, all of that stuff. And what I really like is when you hit the car in the corner, it pulls up and turns its headlights on, and when you click it away, it pulls back and the headlights turn back off. I like that attention to detail from Ford. Settings here, I can change the balance just with my finger. I love that for the sound. This does have the upgraded sound system, the B&O sound system from Ford. Charge! I can look at my status, I can schedule a charge, departure, and comfort, things of that nature. Personal profiles, driver assistance, vehicle, nothing really too crazy here, but if you wanted to look, there it is. General, I have my display, brightness, things like that. I like the center screen. It has good frames per second and refresh rate, and it has good touch response. I just don't like the fact that everything is run through here. It's a little cluttered and a little bit hard to get used to. For instance, it was hard for me to find my drive modes right off the bat. They're just tucked away in a different menu. It is what it is. Down below the center screen, I do have a little cubby for my wireless charger, USB inputs, and things like that. It's a nice large space to put really anything you want. And then I do have 2 cup holders. So, big friggin' bottle test here in the Mach-E. And it fails. Sadly, it does fail. This is sort of a get-around-town SUV, so I didn't really expect it to pass, but it is what it is. Then on the center console itself, I do have my drive mode selector. So it is a rotary dial style shifter for park, reverse, neutral, drive, and low. I think it's kind of comical that they have low gear because this is a single speed transmission. I don't know what it's shifting into. But on the right of that, I do have my parking sensor button, hazard switch, and my power parking brake. I'm kind of torn here because I really like the minimalist design. I love the fact that vehicles are moving towards this minimalism. I think we really peaked in the late 2000s, early 2010s of having 1.5 million buttons. And Porsche still does tons and tons of buttons in the center consoles of their Macans. I'm glad that we're moving away from that here in the Mach-E. But on the flip side, it's a little bit harder to get used to, a little bit harder to navigate. So I guess beggars can't be choosers. Now we gotta talk about the seats. The seats are heated, cooled, power, and memory. They do not get the massaging seats that the Platinum F-150 or Ford Explorer receive, but I could see that coming down the line. They are nice and comfortable. They are big guy friendly, and that's all I can ask for from a modern SUV. Now, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review as well as a tailgate review. All right, so now we're in the back of the 2021 Mustang Mach-E Premium. Have a little center console here, 2 cup holders, pretty typical Ford. From back here, you wouldn't be able to tell that this is from any other Ford product, which is nice. I have perforated leather seats. Headroom is good, especially because of this glass ceiling. Legroom is good. It's a very well-proportioned SUV. It does not have a third row, but I think it's sort of that perfect size. I do have a USB-C charger as well as a traditional USB charger down below, and I have my own climate control vents, but not my own climate controls themselves. Besides that, nothing really too crazy or important or impressive back here. However, those door handles are kind of annoying to use. It's a button and it pops the door, and I'm not a big fan. But let's go take a look at the trunk and tailgate area. All right, so around the back of the new Mustang Mach-E, you gotta reach down here and there is a button, power tailgate, which is very, very nice. But once we're in here, we do have a 12-volt outlet. This is what I look for in new cars. Love that 12-volt outlet. Do get a little Mustang logo. Ford's really been going crazy with their logos in the backs of their vehicles, and I like that a lot. Other than that, nothing too crazy. Of course, I have my floor mats. I can lift up the floor here, no spare tire, but this is some of my charging equipment and things of that nature. I do have these 2 little cubby holes on either side, which is nice for items that might roll around. But other than that, again, very typical stuff. And I can close it at the touch of a button as well. But that's not where the storage ends here on the Mach-E. Pull this up and we have even more storage. So we have these nice dividers that are removable, but this is a fairly large trunk. You can put some groceries up here or maybe stuff you don't want rolling around. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but I really, really like it. And we do have, of course, a little escape button, things like that. So you do get some front storage in the Mach-E, which is really, really cool because it is an electric vehicle. That is one of the bigger perks. One last thing about the interior is that I do get this giant glass roof. I absolutely love it. It does not open, but it adds really nice light to the cabin, and I'm pleasantly enjoying it. Now we gotta talk about the looks. I'm not super sold on the front end of the Mustang Mach-E. However, I love the back end. And I think overall, it's a fine looking SUV. I don't think it really wows anyone in that sort of regard. I think to me, every time I see one, I still get surprised because it's a Mach-E. But overall, I don't think it's a stone cold killer. I don't think it's super attractive, but I also don't think it's ugly. But now, with all of that being said, let's get to my final thoughts. Oh, the controversy. Oh, the conversation that's been around this vehicle since it was announced. And now I'm finally driving it. Well, I want to start off by saying I love this SUV. I love the Mach-E. I think it's a really, really good, really solid, modern interpretation of an electric SUV. I love it. I really, really think it's good. And if that's all you care about, please head on over to Packey Webb, talk to Spencer Shipley, and order yourself one of these cars.
Now, one thing I did want to talk about is the price, and this is listed at $55,000, and I honestly think it's worth that. Something so cutting edge, quick, and new, I think honestly $55,000 is not a bad deal for this vehicle. It's a little pricey for a two-row SUV, but think of all the technology, think of how cutting edge it is, how new. I really do think it's worth it.
I love hearing the comments about this car. I love reading them all and stuff like that. If you want to talk trash about this car in the comments section, by all means, go for it. But before you do that, you have to leave the day that you drove one. Oh, you didn't drive one. Interesting. Very interesting. But now let's talk about the name. Mustang Mach-E. Mustang. This embodies nothing that a traditional Mustang embodies. It is not a V8. It's not even a straight six. It's not even gasoline powered. You can get them in rear wheel drive, but this one's all wheel drive, so no, not a Mustang in that respect. It's 4 doors, not a Mustang in that respect. It's an SUV. It's not a 2-door coupe, not a Mustang in that respect. This, for all intended purposes, is not a Mustang, and you really shouldn't treat it as one. However, I understand why Ford did it. I'm not happy about it, but I understand it. Everyone and their mom is trying to fight Tesla right now when it comes to EVs. Tesla outsells everyone when it comes to their EVs. Everyone, every single person. I'm surprised that Tesla isn't just synonymous with the EV like Xerox is to photocopying or Band-Aid is to bandages. And so when Ford decided, hey, we want to make a Tesla Model X competitor, they had to use the big guns. They had to bring everything they had to the table. And what's Ford's biggest name? Mustang. I don't think there was anyone up in Dearborn, Michigan thinking, oh, this is just like a Mustang. No, it's a marketing scheme. It was to get people to talk about it, and look at how many people talked about it. One of the examples I wanted to bring up was comparing this to the Audi e-tron. Oh, you don't know what an Audi e-tron is? Did you know that Audi has been making a fully electric SUV for the last 2 years? Oh, you didn't know that? Because you've never heard of it. Because e-tron is a weird name, and they didn't market themselves properly. Using the Mustang name, it put an idea into people's heads. Positive or negative, all press is good press. And that's why they named this the Mustang. And so right now, with EVs, things are weird. Everyone's trying to get a start. Everyone's trying to get a ball rolling that they haven't gotten rolling before. This is Ford's first fully electric SUV. And so, while I'm not happy about the Mustang name, please let Ford run with it for a little bit. Let them figure it out. Hopefully they drop Mustang out of the name and it'll just be the Mach-E, or it'll just be this or that. Once the name actually sort of has some gravitas, some weight to it. Because this is a really good, really special, fun to drive SUV. Honestly, for the time being, this is at the top of my list. I think this is the best, this is the best electric car I've driven recently. And one of my favorites overall. It's so modern, it's so fresh, it's so different, and yet it drives so nice. I always yell in these videos. I'm sorry, I get excited, but I don't have to yell. I'm just going for a nice, calming drive. I think I'll stop by the store today and maybe get some flowers for my girlfriend, or maybe I'll stop and get lunch at a new place. It's nice, calm, collected. I can't ask for anything more. If you can get your mind past the Mustang name and the Mustang badges, you will open yourself up to a brand new world, and that world has a pretty cool car in it. The Mach-E is really, really good. Just don't involve the pony. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Spencer Shipley for getting me into the seat of this Mach-E. This is probably one of the top hottest cars of 2021, and it can be yours by contacting Spencer Shipley himself. His information is up on the screen as well as linked in the description below. Packey Webb Ford has a couple of these ready to go, so give them a call. You can come test drive this one. This is their demo vehicle. You can drive the exact one that Zach from Shooting Cars drove. I'll keep the seat warm for you. So seriously, give them a call, come in, talk to them about it, and yeah, you don't want to miss this one. You don't want to miss this one. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.